Hey, what's up guys? This is Fairway Finder, and today I want to bring to you an episode about using the Texas rig. Alright guys, so I use this actually quite a bit, and I have only really used it a lot since about a year ago. A lot before that, I was a lot of reaction style baits, crankbaits, spinner baits, stuff like that. And I never really got into this weedless kind of setup, and it's really cool and really awesome once you get to learn about it. Now, a few things about this can seem kind of daunting for the first time anglers, or to the anglers that just want to try it out for the first time. And that is the choices. Of course, all these look the same, but trust me, there's thousands of choices. And then people are like, oh, I'm gonna have to get a new rod for it and all that kind of jazz, and really you don't. So let me actually show you the rods I have, and I'll let you know what they're used for other than this, so you don't really need to get a specific Texas rig rod or anything like that. Now the first one I have is my 7.6 blackout rod. This is a medium heavy extra fast action. It has a Abu Garcia Pro Max on it with 65-pound braid. Yeah, I know, it's pretty heavy. Oh well. This is my frog rod. And I can use it for many things. I actually have a jig on there right now that has a Rage chunk as the trailer. And I love this jig. This jig is actually, it is actually upside down, but it's actually the all-terrain tackle skipping jig, and I love it. If I can get this pincher way from the hook, there we go. Love it. It's a good, with that Rage chunk, it's a good little presentation, but it has lots of kick on it, which is nice. Now, I can use this for T-rigs and Florida rigs, and it's definitely the stick that I use whenever I'm going to be flipping docks all day. With it being 7.6, makes it a lot easier to flip it a very good distance. Now, guys, whenever you're flipping clear water, you can always put like a 5-foot liter of fluorocarbon on there, anything like that, just in case. If you're a little bit worried about that. Braid is normally fine, but in clear water situations, you're going to get a fluorocarbon leader on there. Now, this is actually the rod that I have set up for jigs and T-rigs right now. And I have a, don't worry about that now. I have a Rage tail, Rage bug on there. Right here, this is a 7-foot medium heavy extra fast action blackout rod, and it has my Abu Garcia Silver Max on there, the 3rd gen, with 20-pound fluorocarbon on there. This is the go-to line whenever it comes to jigs and T-rigs. It's very abrasive resistant, and really can get fish out of really tight places. So that is what I use for this. Now, you might ask, what can I use this rod for other than this? Possibly you already have a spinning bait rod, or spinnerbait rod, chatterbait rod, or anything like that. Normally those are the moderate actions, but any of your medium heavies will work for T-rigs. So you're going to want like a fast action whenever it comes to jigs, so that you actually have a long backbone to set that hook. But for these guys, you can get away with a moderate fast or just a fast. But with the jigs, you're going to want, but that's a different video for a different day. So real quick, I'm actually going to go through what the terminal tackle I use whenever it comes to this stuff. Alright guys, one of the most important things about this whole setup is the hook. Now you can use, for flipping, you can actually use a flipping hook, a straight shank hook. There's nothing wrong with that. I actually use Berkeley's Fusion EWG. This is a 4/0 hook, so it's an extra wide gap hook, and normally you can actually get away with a 3/0 hook, but 3/0 or a 4/0 hook is going to get you done with a lot of plastics. So you're going to want to get that. Make sure it's a good hook, a decent hook. And I love those Fusions. They're good price and they stay sharp. They have a good barb on them too. It keeps that fish on. So go with those. Next, the weight. If you're not flipping really heavy cover, you can actually stay with the 3/16 ounce bullet weights. If you're going to be flipping heavy cover, you're going to want to go up to maybe even a 1/2 ounce. I normally stick with 3/16 of an ounce. The heavy cover that I go through are lily pads and some very light mats. So this 3/16 of an ounce can still get that bait down through the lily pad stems, the very, very thin mats and stuff that we get up here in PA. If you're down south and you have some heavy, heavy mats, you're going to want to get some 1/2 ounce weights to punch through that. Next thing, you're going to want some peg stoppers. I have some 6 cents ones. They're pretty cheap. They work great. That is what actually keeps this weight right here. So if it wasn't there, it'd be free floating. See that? But you have that down there, boom, and it stays like this. All right, and instead of peg stoppers, you can use toothpicks. You shove them down the weight and just like this and break them off. I suggest only use toothpicks with braid though. With fluorocarbon, that does leave or make a spot that the fluorocarbon can break. All right, guys. So there are tons of soft plastic options for you, and whenever it comes to flipping and pitching and Texas rigs, normally people are going to be talking about these 3, and I'll show you them right now. You're looking at the craws right here. This is a good option, especially in the spring or fall. The fish are feeding on crawdads, so this presentation is going to work out very well. Now I understand these guys, they're really small. It's a rage chunk. If you have a really small hook, possibly like I don't even know. Like a 6/0, a small hook, you could actually make that work. But this is actually just a trailer. I do not suggest using this for a straight up Texas rig. Let me get that straight. But it is an option. Next one that I like to use is Strike King Rage Tails Rage Denny Craw. It is absolutely an amazing bait. You can actually see it right here. This is just like their regular Rage Craw, which I also suggest as well, except for these pinchers, they're actually 2 pieces instead of just 1. And it's a little bit of a slimmer presentation, and if the bass are finicky as well, this one will work. Doesn't actually produce a lot of vibrations in the water, like a lot of big vibrations in the water like the Rage Craw, but it does a lot of small ones, and depending on what the fish like, they're going to tell you what they want. So Rage Craw, Rage Denny Craw, anything like that, that's going to work. Done with the craws. Also, the craws are normally pretty good with finicky bass. A lot of times that middle section is pretty thin, and it can work pretty well. All right, on to the, I guess you could say, creature baits. And I have 2 of them here that I suggest. First one is actually my favorite bait to actually flip. It is Rage Tails, Structure Bug, Rage Bug. They're known by both ways, but love this thing. You got 2 big legs, you got 2 little arms, and you got 2 of these little weird antennas down here. This thing has so much movement. You can actually swim this through the water and catch fish. Great bait, and it holds up, and that's absolutely phenomenal. Another one right here is the KVD's Perfect Plastic. This is the original rodent, and it's good as well. Only problem with this that I'll say is that it's pretty soft, doesn't last as long. But I use this for a lot of trailers for jigs whenever I get tear these up to a point that I just can't use them anymore. So those 2 are really good. Now, if you guys are going to be strictly punching mats, this guy right here is going to be better. There's no appendages off to the side like this. This one, it might get caught up, might have a little bit of resistance in the mat, probably not, but every now and then you might have it. That is where this one is definitely going to be a lot better for you. Alright, and the final one that I like to use, and really there's not a category for it at all, but I like to call them kind of almost like a finesse creature bait. It's almost in between like a tube, or not a tube, like a worm and a creature bait, and that is the Rage Menace from Rage Tale. Now, a lot of people use this for like a swim jig trailer or chatterbait trailer or a regular jig trailer, and that's a phenomenal thing to use it for. But this is awesome whenever you set it up as a flipping setup, whenever the bass are crazy finicky. Now normally, I know I'm saying finicky a lot here, bass are going to munch this up, and if they're not going for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to one of these craws. And if they're not going for one of these craws, I'm going to put one of these on a Texas rig. And normally, once I get to that point, the fish will bite on this. And that is the order of things. You know, I like using this for a Texas rig, but it's not my first choice. And I don't think it should be yours either. But that is an option that you can use. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you guys have any questions, please put them down in the comment section. If you like the video, please hit like, subscribe, share, check out my page. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, thank you for watching the whole way through. And check out the rest of my channel. I got a lot of cool things on there. And I hope you guys have a good day. Thank you for watching.